Alright, this is keeping track of where we are with the course. Just give a little update before we enter the last 3 weeks of the course, the last 3 themes, also the last 3 traits of a seducer. You may recall this. It is the sheet with all the different themes and also the 3 parts of this course, the 3 different modules. We're not talking right now about module 0 or theme 0, which was an extra one about preparation, where I give you a mission on logistics and structural solution to find yourself more often in the company of women you fancy. I also gave you the swerve by and a couple of other extras and questions to sit in before we started this course. Once we started this course, it exists out of 3 modules, and they are in line with the 3 parts of my book, also the 3 phases of a seducer. The first module is called Seduction as a Practice in Self-Expression, and we talked about action, we talked about presence, we talked about anger, we talked about desire, and it was a way for you to get into the habit to express your experience with the women you fancy. It is what's needed to move from stage 0 to stage 1 of a seducer to really become a seducer. To move to stage 2, what is needed is to realize that seduction is a dance for 2. When you realize seduction is a dance for 2, you can move into stage 2, the ultimate stage of seduction. And we talked there about generosity, leading into it. We talked about leadership, and last week we talked about inclusiveness or inclusivity. Now the last module is called the darker side of seduction, and I want to talk about all the political incorrect things, or the things that are a bit more volatile and fiery to talk about. So the last 3 weeks we're going to talk about 2 main things, which is 1, the language of women. We're going to talk about conspiracy. We're going to talk about subcommunication, and then 2, we're going to talk more about the brutality that's at the core of seduction, and then we'll have an end theme as well. But we're moving now in the last ultimate phase, the darker side of seduction. I realize that for some of you, you're still with your head and issues even in the module 1, seduction as a practice in self-expression, and that's okay. I still want to give you the full arc of what I see of a fully seductive man. What are those traits? You know? And it's not only the traits of he takes action, or he's present, or he expresses desire, or he expresses anger. He's also the guy who's generous, who's a leader, which is for me the most important theme of this course. I'll keep repeating it. If you're a leader, you'll have women in your life. If you're a good leader, you'll have great women in your life. And then the last one that we talked about is the tool of the leader is inclusiveness. Now we're moving into the last thing, the darker side and the very advanced stuff. So this week we'll talk about the language of women. We'll talk about conspiracy. You'll start seeing some things that you may not have seen before, and it's a way to start speaking the language of women and knowing what women really want.